All right, so it's looking like for the most part, we're not understanding number 2. So I'm just going to get a volunteer for number 1, and then I'll go through number 2 with everybody all together. Okay, so Anthony, would you come up here and do number 1 for us? So while Anthony is putting this up here, we're going to be making sure that we're taking notes too, to make sure that we did the same thing.
Yes.
All right, so okay, so as Anthony's working on that, what kind of angles are those two? Yes, Brendan.
Two.
What?
Two.
Okay, but what do those two angles when you add them up together?
180.
They add up to 180. And what's it called when
Straight line.
two angles add up to 180?
Straight line.
Okay, it is a straight line, yes. Okay, but so can somebody tell me what is it called when two angles add up to 180? DeMarcus. Supplementary, perfect. Okay, exactly. So we're kind of starting to move on from some of that, so this was just kind of a review. My marker's really not working. Okay, so the two angles add up to 180. So Anthony, you work this one out here? Are you still working on it?
No.
You're done?
You ain't doing nothing.
The answer's what? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to clarify a little bit what Anthony wrote up here. So he wrote 1 plus 52. So one thing we have to clarify, Anthony, is that this should say angle 1. So we know that it's this angle right here. So this angle plus this angle equals 180, which is exactly what he wrote here. Angle 1 plus 52 is 180. So then what do we have to subtract from both sides? What's my next step here? Yes, Brendan?
Do the opposite.
Of which one?
And when you wrote it, I can see. 52
Yes, perfect.
and yeah.
And then what's 180 minus 52? Anthony, what do you think of that? 127. Exactly. Okay, so that's what everybody should have down for this first one. If you didn't get that the first time, make sure that you write down these notes just like you wrote them up here, okay? What? Oh, it's 128. It is 128. Thank you, thank you. Okay. I got it. All right, Lavelle, do you have a question? Yeah, we're going to work it out together. Thank you for volunteering. So, for number 2, this is what we learned on Friday. And I think we need a big refresher right now just to make sure that we're all on the same page before we jump into this stuff today. So, for A, it's asking us to circle the exterior angle. So who can tell me which one of all of these is the exterior angle? Which one is the exterior angle? So you're looking at your sheet, looking up here, to see which one is the exterior angle. Yeah, Lavelle.
Is 1 and 2
Which one is it, 1 or 2?
both?
Both?
No.
So, what does it mean to be exterior?
Be one side.
To be one side?
Go both sides. I guess the 2. Yeah, 2.
Okay, so can somebody clarify what Lavelle's saying here? So, which one is outside of the triangle?
1.
What?
1.
Yeah, so this one, angle 1, is the one that's outside of the triangle. So that's our exterior angle. So for A, it just said to circle the exterior angle. So everybody sort of circled angle 1 on your do now. All right, I see Tyree doing that right now, correcting his work. Fantastic job. What? You can't see this? Okay. Can you see it now? Okay, hold on. All right. So make sure that you're writing this down as we're doing it. You got that circle there? Aaron, you got that circle there? Okay. All right, so the next thing for B was to put boxes around the two remote interior angles. So which ones are those when we have remote interior angles? Remember how we had our little remote control and it was pointing inside? So which two are going to be the remote interior angles there? Terry, what do you think? Which two would be our remote interior angles here? Remote interior. Yep. So so there are three interior angles, right? So we have 2, 68, and 60, right? Okay, so our remote interior is going to be the ones that are opposite the way we're pointing in. So which ones are opposite when we're pointing in from angle 1? And? Yeah, exactly. Say it with more confidence. Which ones? Yeah, perfect. Okay, so we're going to put a box around these two like that. Those are our two remote interior angles. So, the theorem that we learned on Friday, Donald?
That's a yes.
The theorem that we learned on Friday was that this one out here equals these two added together. So angle 1 equals 60 plus 68. So that's our theorem from Friday. If that's our theorem from Friday, I'm going to set up an equation for angle 1 and have you guys solve it, okay? So to find angle 1, we know that angle 1 equals the sum of 60 and 68. So that is our rule there. That the one outside equals these two inside added together. So now what I'd like you to do is go ahead and solve for angle 1 the way that I set it up. You're writing this down on your sheet and solving for angle 1. Alright, so Hina's writing that down. Fantastic. We're writing down this equation, and then we are so we're writing this down here, and then tell me what you get when you add those together. Alright, so we're going to bring it back together now. I need eyes up here, level 0 in 3, 2, 1, 0. Alright, DeMarcus, what'd you get when you added these two together? 60 plus 68. 128. Okay, so measure of angle 1 is going to be 128. Alright, so now for finding the measure of angle 2, there are two ways that I can solve it. Remember what we did up here for angle 1? These two added up to 180, right? So down here, what do we know also adds up to 180? Which two angles down here do we know add up to 180? What are the names of the two angles that add up to 180 down here? Yes, Anthony. 1 and what? Angle 1 and 68? 1 and 2. Alright, so snaps if you understand what Anthony is saying. That angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. Snaps if you understand that you're with me, just so I know. Alright, so we got Terry over there. Alright, so angle 1 and 2 are supplementary. Anthony? So that means that they add up to 180. So we just found the measure of angle 1, right? So now, if we're trying to get the measure of angle 2, how do I do that?
You said what now?
we already found what the measure of angle 1 was, and we know that these two add up to 180. So now I can just set up another equation over here. We know that angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 180. And then the measure of angle 1 we already found out is 128.
Oh, man.
So then we have our equation is set up like this. So Donald, what do we do next? Yes. So now from here, we're going to subtract 128 from both sides. So then what will be the measure of angle 2 after I do this calculation here? See a silent hand. Yep, Donald. 52, that's going to be right. So, did we even have to solve that? Because look, we had this answer right here. 128, and this one was supplementary too. So we did it both ways, and they equal the same thing because those are both supplementary angles. Alright, so I want you guys to take a minute, if you didn't already, to write down the way that we solved this on your do-now, so that if you didn't do that the first time, we can do it all together right now and make sure you're writing it down. Alright, so DeMarcus is finishing writing this down.